when it comes to growing, grow as much as you can handle. Otherwise, your business is going to run you instead of you running your business. So put together processes, workflows, all of those things, and really just delegate as much as you can.
Hey, I'm Brad, and this is Humans of Flippa, where we talk to the real-life buyers and sellers of digital assets. Today I'm chatting with a hugely successful buyer in Brett Helling. When Brett was just 12 years old, as a hobby, he started his first business in lawn mowing with his twin brother, then in college really caught the business bug by buying his first ever website, which has seen him turn that business into 13 with an extensive online portfolio, all thanks to Flippa. So Brett is one of the many on Flippa who has turned his hobby into a fully fledged career. So today, for Humans of Flippa, we're meeting Brett Helling. Brett Helling, welcome to Humans of Flippa.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
My absolute pleasure. Before we get in, I'd love to know, how would you describe what you do? Are you more of a business broker, entrepreneur? How would you describe it?
I'm an entrepreneur building a lifestyle business.
Yeah, cool. And I have read that you have been hustling since you were a kid. This hasn't just been a thing that you've done the past couple of years. It's something that you've done since you were quite young. You caught the business bug, so to speak.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, my brother and I, when we were 12 years old, I live in United States and in Nebraska, where I live, the law requires you to be 15 years of age or older to have a part-time job. And when we were 12, we couldn't find work because we weren't legally old enough to work. So we started a mowing company in my neighborhood. We had, I think, 10 lawns at one point. It's kind of a cool little operation. We just spent the money on candy and rockets and stuff, but it was yeah. So I've been doing it since I was young.
Yeah. Was that an even 50-50 split of the candy, or was there some sort of ratio?
It was a 50-50 split. Yeah. We both consider ourselves, he's my twin brother, so we consider ourselves to be very fair guys.
Yeah. Oh, good for you. And when did it start actually becoming a real tangible career point for you? It was around college time, I believe.
Yeah, it was about college. In college, I studied marketing, management, and entrepreneurship. So I wanted to go the corporate world, work for a Fortune 500 company, kind of get into middle management eventually, and maybe upper management, and kind of do that whole career path. And that just wasn't for me. I wasn't that good at school. I had too many ideas. I'm not really good at structured learning, structured work environment. So started just branching out on my own, and kind of just did a bunch of stuff in college that eventually led me to where I am today, which is building a portfolio of online properties, most of which I bought from Flippa.
Yeah, fantastic. I'd love to get into all those properties eventually, but what was that first business that you acquired that kind of set this whole thing off?
I bought a website from Flippa. It was called ridester.com. So it was information about the ride sharing niche. And at the time, it was just a platform, kind of like before Uber and Lyft. They were right when they came out. So it was a car sharing platform. So it would allow people going in the same direction to hitch a ride. They'd split gas, things like that. And it kind of brokered that transaction. And I bought that site. It had a bunch of links to the domain. So I moved that the actual platform to a subdomain and put a bunch of content on it. And that's what's now ridester.com, which was kind of an outlet. It was a little fun blog for me to write about when I drove for Uber and Lyft. And that eventually got about 1.5 million people to it a month at its peak. So that was kind of the turning point when I realized this whole online business thing it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to looking for those online businesses, is the type of business important, or is it more about the scalability and the potential with revenue?
For me, it's about scalability and revenue. So some of the things, like I'm a huge scuba diver, so I recently started a scuba diving website. I'm still building that out. And that's more of an outlet just for me to share the sport with people, just because I love it so much. It's a big passion of mine. Yeah. For the most part, though, in the websites that I try to acquire and fit into my portfolio, those are definitely ones I want to scale.
Yeah. And with 13 businesses, are you just a one-man entire company, just doing all the work yourself, or do you outsource often?
I outsource often. Yeah. So I have a whole team of maybe 15 to 20 contract employees, or not employees, contract workers. And there's some that do content, some that do SEO stuff. It kind of depends. I try to set the strategy myself, and I'm kind of the ideas guy. So I sit down, I figure out where the site needs help, where the opportunities for growth are. And then from there, I kind of farm it out to my team, and they do that.
So what's the short-term future look like for you? Do you think you have more capacity to have more businesses in your portfolio, or are you kind of just chilling on the 13 existing?
So yeah, it's a great question. I have spent the past few months thinking about that, and I've been feeling like I'm working too much. So I try not to do everything myself, but just running 13 sites, if you don't have the proper workflows and processes in place, I can't really fully give that work off to my team. So I'm looking to kind of elevate myself, delegate the work. And so I'm in the process of scaling right now. So I'm trying to figure out how do I actually dump most of that work off to my team, and that allows me to kind of live in the clouds.
Why do you think Flippa as a platform is something that you've been able to utilize quite successfully?
So I check it almost daily, and there's so much on there.
Mm.
And I sometimes I go for strategic acquisitions. So most of the things I buy will either I merge with another site I've been sitting on, or a lot of it is very strategic in kind of building the assets that I already have. And some of them are cash flowing. Like I bought one recently called Jobs for Felons Hub, and I
Mm.
bought that from a guy named Ron, who was actually featured on this show. And that one was a great business in itself, so I bought that. It was cash flowing, so that was kind of rare for me, though. Usually they have to fit in my portfolio. And what I like about Flippa is it's just so easy. So there are some other platforms that you have to verify your funds, you have to go through all these hoops. I understand that that has a time and a place, but Flippa just makes it so darn easy to just buy things and do it quickly.
Yeah. And when you're trawling through those listings, what specific things are you looking for besides like revenue and scalability and that potential? Are there certain metrics within that listing that really speak to you?
Kind of my litmus test for a business is I almost will never touch it if it doesn't have traffic and it doesn't have links.
Yeah.
So that's just my own kind of investment thesis is I want to buy something that I don't have to do a lot of link building to. It already has traffic. It might be ranking for keywords. So those are two things I definitely look at.
So how do you think Flippa has impacted your life and your business?
It's unlocked the potential for a lot more asset building. So now that I have more than one business, I've seen that I can get them from Flippa, merge them together, and it has just unlocked a whole kind of world that I did not know existed.
You're here now with 13 businesses in your portfolio, which is excellent. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years or so?
So I'm in a bit of a growth curve right now. So I have kind of a 3-step process of what I like to take. So I've spent the past 2 years collecting all these assets. I've bought maybe 20, merged some of them together, but overall I have the verticals I want to hit. So I'm building a diversified portfolio. And within each one of those now, I'm systematically going through and laying the foundation for each one. So they're designed well. The user interface is easy to use, easy to navigate. I'll optimize all the content, all the links, and really just scale those up with more content. So I see kind of in all the different buckets that I'm going for, the different verticals, I'll just scale out and increase my audience.
But before we go, I'd love to ask you what advice you'd give to someone that's looking at you now with your 13 businesses and would want to emulate your success using Flippa.
I would say have a good process in place. So two answers to that question.
Yeah.
Do not stretch yourself too thin. What I've done in the past is, especially as I've grown, we're learning this very recently, is when it comes to growing, grow as much as you can handle. Otherwise, your business is going to run you instead of you running your business. So put together processes, workflows, all of those things, and really just delegate as much as you can. In terms of Flippa, just keep looking. There's always good assets on there. Like I mentioned before, I look every single day and just scoop up the ones that I see are interesting pretty quickly. But just keep your eyes open and find some good stuff, and you never know what you'll find.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on Humans of Flippa. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.